For today's headlines, Russia completes 10 million Sputnik V delivery. Super rich tax bill may backfire. Walk-ins allowed during 3-day National Vaccination Day. Cops linked to polls may be reassigned. Tacloban port terminations denounced. 5 men arrested, drug den closed. Pangasinan starts 1.6 billion pesos irrigation project. Northeast monsoon to bring rains in extreme Northern Luzon. Good morning, I am Venice Bautista and you are watching Tribune News on Q. Today is November 22, 2021 and here are the latest news this Monday morning. The Philippine government has expressed gratitude to the Russian government for completing the 10 million doses of Sputnik V, the National Task Force Against COVID-19 said. In a statement, vaccine czar Carlito Galvez Jr. lauded Russia for fulfilling the procurement contract and for facilitating the shipment of the much-needed vaccine doses to the Philippines. The completion of this contract is a testament to the robust relationship between our countries which transcends diplomatic relations, Galvez said. Moreover, it demonstrates Russia's strong commitment to help provide greater vaccine accessibility to all nations, including the Philippines, he added. President Rodrigo Roa Duterte had earlier expressed his gratitude to the Russian government for giving the Philippines greater access to its life-saving vaccines. The statement came after the country received its first-ever supply of single-shot Sputnik Light vaccine donated by the Russian government on Friday. The latest shipment contained a total of 5,000 doses of Sputnik Light, along with 2.8 million doses of Sputnik V vaccines, which completed the delivery of the 10 million doses procured by the national government. As of November 19, the Philippines has received over 133.16 million COVID-19 vaccine doses coming from various manufacturers. Galvez said the Philippines continues to negotiate for more doses of Sputnik Light as this will enable the country to continue ramping up its vaccine throughput. Finance Secretary Carlos Dominguez III said imposing a super-rich tax on those with assets above 1 billion pesos will defeat its purpose of generating more revenues for the government. Still, the finance chief said such a move would encourage aggressive tax avoidance schemes and drive out capital and investments from the Philippines. In a letter addressed to House Speaker Lord Alan J. Velasco, the discouraged growth and investments in the long term from the proposed bill will outweigh the initial gains in tax collections upon its implementation. There is a risk of capital flight if the wealth tax is passed in the Philippines. Currently, only 4 countries continue to implement the wealth tax: Belgium, Norway, Spain, and Switzerland, Dominguez explained. Many countries that had wealth taxes before ended up repealing the said measures, particularly because of the increased capital mobility and access to tax havens in other countries, he added. Under the proposed bill, individuals with taxable assets that exceed 1 billion pesos should pay 1% tax, while a tax of 2% shall be imposed on taxable assets over 2 billion pesos and 3% for over 3 billion pesos. According to the finance chief, the bill is not consistent with the government's current thrust in attracting more investments, as it will also discourage businesses from undertaking less profitable and riskier ventures that are beneficial to the public. Further, the cabinet official explained the proposed wealth tax on top of the current tax regime may no longer be necessary. Health Undersecretary Maria Rosario on Monday said that the government will allow walk-ins during the 3-day National Vaccination Day from November 29 to 30 and December 1, 2021. No registration is required. Whoever is our eligible population, they can go to the vaccination areas. This is to increase the number of fully vaccinated people in the country before Christmas, and the real target are those who are yet to be vaccinated, Verhida said in an interview over DZMM. She added that the Department of Health is now coordinating with all the government units nationwide and the private sector to ensure the success of the vaccination drive. They are also calling for volunteers and are currently coordinating with various agencies to make the National Vaccination Day happen, she added. The government aims to inoculate at least 15 million Filipinos or at least 5 million a day during the three-day event, Verhide added. A memorandum was made in which all of the healthcare workers in the local government and in the regional offices are excused for these specific days. Tribune News on Q will be back after these short reminders.
Manong Joe po.
Christmas saya, pagsama-sama.
Botomoto Halalan 2022, the Daily Tribune special coverage.
Bong, yung naumpisahan ko, tapusin mo. Mga bagong highway, tulay, tren, dapat ma-enjoy na kaagad ng mga tao yan. Kailangan lahat bakunado at laging may ayuda pag kailangan. Huwag dapat makabalik ang mga drug lords para ligtas ang pamilya. Yung ginawa mong malasakit centers, maganda yan. Padamihin mo pa. Magkasama tayo. Tayo ang nagsimula, tuloy-tuloy lang, Bong.
Botomoto Halalan 2022, the Daily Tribune special coverage.
Christmas saya, pagsama-sama.
We're back on Tribune News on Q. The Philippine National Police yesterday said its personnel who have connections with candidates who are running in the 2022 elections will be reassigned to other posts. PNP Chief General Leonardo Carlos said the decision is part of a crackdown on cops who accept jobs as personal bodyguards for politicians. During the upcoming national and local elections, the police will keep an eye on unlicensed bodyguards as the PNP puts a stop to the proliferation of illegal weapons. The PNP chief promised that police officers participating in unauthorized private armed groups during elections will not be tolerated. Under Commission on Elections Resolution 10728, no one, including the candidates or any public officials, is allowed to employ or engage the services of security personnel or bodyguards unless authorized by the poll body through the Committee on the Ban on Firearms and Security Concerns. An official of the Philippine Chamber of Commerce and Industry in Leyte has lamented the termination of 200 workers at the Tacloban City seaport upon the assumption of its operations by Global Port Terminal Incorporated. Former Councilor Jerry Uy, the Vice President for Internal Affairs of PCCI in the area, lamented the displacement of the workers amid financial hardships brought about by the pandemic and while Christmas is approaching. Global Port took over the port's cargo handling services effective November 12 after winning the bidding called by the Philippine Ports Authority or PPA. It bid 1.079 billion pesos for the 15-year concession. Tacloban Vice Mayor Jerry Yao Casin has called the attention of PPA officials in Eastern Visayas regarding the allegedly exorbitant increase in the tariffs. In a letter to PPA Regional Manager Manuel Buholano on November 19, Yao Casin urged the agency to intervene and address the increase in tariffs. Yao Casin wrote PPA, it appears that for general cargoes there is a substantial increase of 360%, while for foreign cargoes it has surged to 401%. 5 men were arrested by Taguig City policemen in a buy-bust operation that also led to the dismantling of a suspected drug den in Barangay Ususan. The drug sting led to the arrest of Emerson Manali, 26, Sonny Esteban, 55, Miko Pascual, 24, Mardando, 48, and Roberto Terrado, 35, according to Southern Police District Chief Brigadier General Jimmy Macaray. Seized from the 5 were 6 sachets of suspected shabu weighing about 10 grams, valued at 68,000 pesos, and improvised glass tutor and aluminum foil strip with residue. Under the Comprehensive Dangerous Drugs Act of 2002, a drug den is a place where drugs are consumed, distributed, or sold. The suspects were brought the SPD District Drug Enforcement Unit office for documentation and filing of charges. Tribune News on Q. We'll be back. Stay with us.
Botomoto Halalan 2022, the Daily Tribune special coverage.
Chris masaya, pagsama-sama. Katribo, hanap mo ba ay food to satisfy your cravings, essential products o ano paman? Sagot ka namin dito sa tindahan ni Tarsi. Halina't tuklasin, kilalanin at alamin ang kwento sa likod ng iba't ibang produkto at negosyo mula sa ating Pinoy local entrepreneurs na tiyak papatok sa'yo. Samahan natin si Tarsi simula November 16 na mapapanood sa programang Gising na mula alas 8 hanggang alas 9 ng umaga sa Facebook page ng Daily Tribune at Tribune Now on YouTube. Makinig at makisali sa usapan every Friday night at 6 p.m. sa I Speak Katribo Podcast. Samahan sina Daniel at Alvin na pag-usapan ang mga relevant topic na tiyak kakarelatean nyo mga katribo. At pagdating ng Sunday at 7 p.m., Speak Your Mind with our I Speak program na sasagot sa mga tanong regarding the latest and relevant issues sa paligid natin. I-like at i-follow nyo ang Daily Tribune Facebook page at Tribune Now on YouTube para updated ka sa mga latest episode namin mga katribo.
Botomoto Halalan 2022, the Daily Tribune special coverage.
Chris masaya, pagsama-sama.
You are still watching Tribune News on Q. The provincial government of Bugalyon, Pangasinan has started the 1.65 billion pesos Dumolok Small Reservoir Irrigation Project to benefit at least 1,400 farmers in the province. The reservoir, a project of the National Irrigation Administration, Department of Agriculture, and the local government, will sit at Barangay Portik, according to Governor Amado Espino III. To be irrigated by the project are about 1,630 hectares. It will also feature a 4.3-kilometer access road, fill dam, and ungated spillway. Local farmers can be expected to increase their production and earnings with the water system. Espino thanked President Rodrigo Duterte for supporting the farmers of Pangasinan as he urged them to take full advantage of the support given by the national government. The Philippine Atmospheric, Geophysical, and Astronomical Services Administration, or PAGASA, on Monday said that northeast monsoon will bring rains in extreme northern Luzon, while easterlies will affect the rest of the country. According to the Weather Bureau, Batanes, Ilocos Norte, Apayao, and Cagayan, Metro Manila, and the rest of the country will be partly cloudy to cloudy skies with isolated light rains. Temperature will range from 25.6 degrees Celsius to 31.4 degrees Celsius. And that wraps the stories this morning. Before we go, we would like to thank Mary Kay, the SM Store, Department of Tourism, Aladeta Center, MG Motors, Hina Motors, Security Bank, and Overseas Community Affairs Council member Alan Lin of Republic of China for their continued support. Again, this is Venice Bautista on Tribune News on Q, reminding you that we only have 33 days until Christmas. Stay safe, stay healthy, and stay at home. Good morning.
Botomoto Halalan 2022, the Daily Tribune special coverage.
Masaya, pagsama-sama.
Catch the latest news on our website, tribune.net.ph. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, Tribune Now. Download the Daily Tribune app on Apple Store for iOS and Google Play for Android to get the latest and most comprehensive news online. Daily Tribune invites you to join its Viber community, Katribu, to get updates on the hottest news on politics, business, sports, lifestyle, and entertainment. Emoticons of the Tribune mascot Tarsito are available on our community Viber.